Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, last video we put together was on how the body is servant to the mind. How the body is servant to the mind. And also recognizing that the body, as we look at it as a black box, the body does not interface directly with the outside world. Now that is, in the illusion, that's they think, oh no, my body knows exactly what's going on outside, but it doesn't. So if you want to refresh your memory on that, I'll put the link up to that particular video. This week, we're going to talk about another aspect of the illusion. I would say maybe the difference between the illusion and moving beyond the illusion. Looking at the present moment. So that's going to be an interesting discussion. But what I'd like to start with is to recognize that it is, what is the advantage of recognizing you are in an illusion? Well, there's a couple things. And one is that it appears that the goal of being here in this particular time, in this particular world, is to find happiness or to feel happy. Because what I see a lot of people in therapy, the first thing I ask them is, what would you like to get out of being in therapy? And almost to a person, not always, but almost to a person, they will say, well, I want to be happy or happier. Depends on where they are in their life. So, most of the time in the illusion, we think that if we, it is the outside world that determines my inside feelings of happiness. Now, happiness is basically a feeling that we have. It is a feeling in the body. Now, we haven't talked about how the feeling gets in the body, except to recognize the body is a servant of the mind. And just saying that statement, the body is a servant of the mind, indicates that if you want to be happy, your boss has to help you. In this case, your mind has to help the body feel happy. Now, if you're not happy, your mind is helping you to feel unhappy. So when you recognize beyond the illusion that you are the creator of your world, very important, you are the creator of the world that you have. As creator, you can change it if you know how. Now, mainly we think, and in the illusion, we think, well, if I got better stuff from the outside, I would feel happy on the inside. In other words, the outside is determining your inside feeling. That's in the illusion. When you move beyond the illusion, you recognize that what you're doing inside determines the outside. And we've gone through several discussions around that. And I'll link a couple of them so that you can kind of refresh your memory on that. So the importance of being in the illusion is, that recognizing that you're in the illusion is also recognizing you can change. Now, you are only your memories. What an interesting idea. You are only your memories. And therefore, if you have negative memories, you can change them. You can heal them. You can, I'm going to use the word warp. You can warp or morph them into another memory. So we're gonna talk about that in the future, but not right now. Now we're gonna lay the groundwork for recognizing you can only be here in the present moment. So I'm going to draw a little diagrams on my whiteboard to help emphasize where we are. And we've done that before in other ways, and I'll reference those information so that you can take a look at it and see if you can tie these things together to support you in moving beyond the illusion. Moving beyond the illusion. So this is going to be an interesting discussion. Recognizing the past is only memories, and your experiences of the past throughout your whole life are now only memories. And the memories that you have retained are creations. Are creations. Now, I know you think your memory is a record of what happened. No, it's not a record of what happened. It is a record of your interpretation of what happened. The event and the interpretation of the event are two different things. But we believe in the illusion they're the same thing. They're never the same thing. That's what makes it an illusion. So, in a moment, I'm going to change the scene, and we're going to have some more fun. So, stick around and see if you agree. Two things. All you are is your memories, and the only place you can be is right here in the present moment. See you in a moment. Well, we're back, and thank you for staying with us. We are going to talk about 7 things to know about the now. And I have them kind of written down here, so I'll have an opportunity to kind of refer to them. So I'm going to start off by dividing the board into little sections. The first one is going to relate to now. Now. And so there's a line representing the now plane. The now plane that is in the universe. It's all there is this now plane, because the only place we can be is right now. Now, when you think about now, it divides our board into two sections. That's what now does. And so now I got to draw another line. And this line represents, in the diagram, I'm going to say this is the future. Future, which is coming towards the now. So the now is this little intersection between the future, and then as soon as it passes this point, the future becomes the past. So out here is your past. And that little dot in the plane, so thin. How thin is this between the future and the past? How thin is that? You might say it's infinitely thin. Infinitely thin. Because you can't hardly picture it. You are in the past and you are in the present almost at the same time, except for that little space, that little gap. That's the now. You're in the future, past. Well, wait a minute. Future and then past. What is this little space? It's the only space you can be. And it's so thin. In that space, it's so thin, there's no time. There's no time in the present moment except for everything. You have to be there, and you can't be in the past, and you're not in the future. Oh, what a puzzlement. What a puzzlement that is. And so that's what you have to begin to recognize. It's like quantum physics. It's stranger than your mind can understand. It's stranger than your mind can understand. But when you start thinking about it, that's the only place you can be. There's nothing in the past but your memories. I should put that down. So in the past is your memories. Memories. In the past is your memories. of what happened in the present now. Because it's always now, but the memories, see the memories, the future is coming towards the present moment. And then, whoop, it's past. It's past the present moment, and therefore, it's only a memory. It's only a memory. And that's what you have here. Now, the memory that you have is unique to you. So I want to talk a little bit, I didn't plan on it, but I would like to talk a little bit about events. So we think, see, here's what happens with an event. Now, you can use the same diagram, I will, and then I'll change it back to this diagram. In the present moment, everything has to happen. Now, if we look at this, this is your line between the future coming, you know, what you think about, what you're going to do, your plans, and then your plans reach a point that they happen. Okay? Then it goes into the past. So you pass through here. Now this is the now, it's always now. And here is your line between your future expectations and your past memories of the present moment. Now, I'm going to draw this a little bit different. I'm going to see how it turns out. Your significant other also has a, whoever that is. If you don't have a significant other, a friend, a pet, almost anything. But think about it as another person. It just makes it easier. So that other person, they have a future, and they have expectations, and they go through the same point from the future to the past. And then somebody else goes through the same point, and somebody else goes through the same point, and somebody else goes through the same point. You, in the illusion, don't even have to know each other. But all of a sudden, an event happens. You go on a trip, you go shopping, you get married, you go to school, you go to work. At work, you have a whole bunch of people. They have their own future. They have their own expectations of the past. And the event happens here. Everything comes together. Everything flows in. And then the event happens like a little explosion. Boom! And energy circulates from here in all directions. And you, with your sensory input that we talked about a couple of times ago, is going to pick up part of the energy of the event. None of these people involved in this unique event will know what the whole event is. Now, even if you got them all together and say, okay, what did you see? What did you see? What was your experience of the event? And they'll be doing it from their memories of the event. Not from the event, but from their memories. But notice that there will be gaps in between all of the people where the energy is still radiating. And so nobody knows the complete event, ever. But you'll think you do, because you'll have a memory, your memory of the event. And you'll say, well, this is what happens. And Susie Q will say, well, no, this is what happened. And Charlie Brown will say, well, no, this is what happened. And Joe Pizzazz will say, well, no, this is what happened. And none of you are going to know what happened. But you'll think you do. That's what your memories are. You will think your memory is the event. No, it's not. But you will have a memory that you will absolutely believe is the event. Now, this happens, let's pick a kind of a premise. This happens in families, family gatherings, like reunions. Oh, you get cousins and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and all kinds of people together, and somebody makes a remark like, well, I can't think of a good one right now, wish I could, and somebody else will take an offense, and I have a video about that, on being offended. And that's what happens. And all of a sudden, within this energy, somebody gets offended because of old memories, because of old hurts, because of old understandings that don't match the situation, but they won't know that. And then there you are. They go away from the family reunion. Well, I'll never talk to that sucker again. And sometimes they don't. And sometimes it's painful. And sometimes that pain affects how they live in the present moment, because they're living out of their past. So where is the happiness? The happiness in the present moment is forgiving yourself, forgiving the situation which was never what you thought it was. And that process is called healing. So by healing offenses that you have in the past of events that were never what you thought they were, you begin to change the happiness in the present moment. When you can let go of the past, which never exists the way you thought it did, you can feel happier in the present moment where you always are. Now, a lot of times the secret is we don't know how to heal the past. We don't know how to let go. A lot of religions, a lot of spiritual paths have rituals to help you in that process. Some of them work pretty good, some of them don't work that good. And some people, even though the ritual may be effective, they can't let go because of internal things going on in them. See, the outside is always a response to what you're doing inside. Everything is outside of you. Everything is outside of you. But what you bring inside that determines your world is based upon the lens of your past. From that standpoint, the lens of your past determines in the present moment how happy you'll be. Oh, this present moment is very powerful. In the present moment, I already said, well, maybe I didn't because I read it wrong. You can't be sick in the present moment. You know why? Not enough. There's no time. There's no time. There's no time to be sick. It's too thin. In the present moment, you can't be sick. You got to be sick in the past. You can't be sick in the future. Oh, there are some mathematical conundrums. What's that mean? Puzzles. That the mathematics works out and says, oh no, everything is in the future, and it's going to come. No, it happens right here. And if you get sick, it's because of the past. It's not because of what's happening now. Another interesting thing about the present moment. And you don't have any information. When you are happening in the present moment, there's no data. It's all energy. The data comes immediately after the present moment from the past. All data, which is information, which isn't what really happened, but it's in the past. There's no data in the present moment. That's so counterintuitive that your mind is probably saying, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. We already mentioned everything happens in the present moment. Nothing happens in the past. Nothing happens in the future. Everything must happen in the instant, the infinite instant of the present moment. How powerful this present moment is. But you usually will not understand it. You will believe. Things happened in the past. And I'm suggesting it cannot happen in the past, because when that energy comes into the present moment and an event happens, it goes right on through it. It goes right on through it. If this person is having one event, it's going out the other end. You can never bring them together. Time travel, you have to, and I talk about it in another video, you have to unwind the past back to the present moment and into the future. And when you time travel, if you ever could, into the past, you won't know it. In a way, it'll look like the present moment. You won't know that you came from another dimension into the past, because when you get there, all of these things will come together and it'll look exactly like the present moment. Oh, how mysterious. Now, the present moment is infinite because it holds everything. Everything is held in the present moment. So, now I'm going to, well, I don't know if I can draw it over that or not. So I'm going to take this off, some of this off, so that we can go on and look at something a little bit different. So we're still going to be talking about the present moment. It's another way of looking at it. So here we have the present moment with all its energy around it. And I'm going to draw a real dark circle. Well, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. That represents you. And you are connected with all those other lines that I showed over here, all those other lines, all those other people you are connected with, and they are connected with you. Now, as you continue, as I continue, because you're all connected, there's nothing outside of the present moment. And as I go around, now you won't be able to see it because I'm not a good drawer. Ha! Artist, I should say artist. I could say I'm a good artist. It just doesn't, art is all in the eye of the beholder, like beauty. But if you look real close at what I drew, it is actually sacred geometry. It is a symbol of what's called the flower of life. There's other names for it, but it's usually called the flower of life. It's an interaction, an intertwining together of circles and circles and circles and circles. Now, you might be able to see this on the board, kinda. I'll see if I'll try to get, in the next video, I'll try to get a picture of one, or maybe I'll slip a picture in on this video of sacred geometry of the flower of life. Now, this is a whiteboard, so it's a plane. We're seeing this sacred geometry in 2 dimensions. There's also a plane coming out of the board of sacred geometry, and it would be on that line there in the present moment in the plane. So there is and so this represents a plane coming out of the board. You move a little bit, there's another plane. You move a little bit more, there's another plane. Where all of this interconnecting, everything is happening in the present moment. There's nothing outside of the present moment. But we think about it as a little dot, and we can't think about it where all of the little dots of everybody passes through this point, and it is infinite. And this sacred geometry it expands in the present moment to incorporate everybody and everything. And you know what the root is? When you get into this, you know what it is? Oneness. We're all one. If you look at the last video, we talked about you connected with the infinite consciousness. And you and the consciousness, the Brahman and the Atman, are one. The creator and the creator are one. You're the creator of your world. You are one with your world and one with everybody that is attached to it. Oh, this may be too spiritual for some. So we better stop and begin to think about being in the present moment and how we can let go of the past through healing and self-forgiveness to find happiness in the present moment. Wouldn't that be great? So, think about that. I know it's kind of hard, it's kind of deep, but you are much more magnificent than you think you are, and it's not beyond your ability to understand. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time we get together. Bye now. I remember that I have a diagram from my next book that has the flower of life in it. And that new book may be called, I think, Along Came Now. So it will again look at the importance of the present now and our understanding of that very powerful point which we are always at in every way. In the diagram, notice the interconnected, interlocking circles, indicating that everything is interconnected. And as you think about how interconnected we are with everything beyond the illusion, recognize that in the illusion, we think we're separate entities. And we never are. This symbol goes back over 6,000 years and represents a principle of the universe, that all is connected. And you may think of another statement: as above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. Everything is interconnected. In the egoic world, we believe, oh no, I'm separate, everything is separate, nothing is together. Beyond the illusion is the knowing that everything is oneness, including you and I. So as you think about that, we look forward to seeing you next time we get together. Bye now.